Russia's President Vladimir Putin has rejected a call from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky to meet for peace talks. Speaking at an economic forum in St. Petersburg, President Putin said there was no point in a meeting and said military operations would only cease when Moscow had achieved its goals. Here's Steve Rosenberg.
Four years since Russian tanks crossed into Ukraine. 4 years since much of the Western world believed Moscow would eventually be brought to its knees by economic sanctions. And 4 years since countless analysts predicted that Russia would struggle to sustain a long and costly war. Yet here we are in 2026. The reality looks far more complex than many expected, because while Russia has not achieved a decisive victory, it has not been defeated either. In fact, in several key areas, Russia has demonstrated a level of resilience that few anticipated during the early months of the conflict. The question today is no longer, can Russia survive this war? The question is, how long can Russia maintain its strategic position? And perhaps more importantly, has the world begun to recognize that this conflict has evolved into something fundamentally different from what it was in 2022? If we look at the battlefield today, the front lines still stretch across eastern and southern Ukraine. But the war is no longer defined solely by who captures a village, a town, or a few square kilometers of territory. It has entered a new phase, a phase where drones, missiles, industrial capacity, and economic endurance matter just as much, if not more, than armored advances. This is what makes the Russia-Ukraine war of 2026 so different from its earlier stages. Victory is no longer measured simply in territory gained. It is measured in the ability to outlast the opponent. The advantages. Russia still holds. One fact remains difficult to ignore. Russia continues to control a significant amount of territory. Crimea remains under Moscow's control. Most of Luhansk remains under Russian control. Large portions of Donetsk are still held by Russian forces. The same applies to strategically important areas in Zaporizhia and Kherson. Overall, Russia continues to control roughly 1/5 of Ukraine's internationally recognized territory. While the map has not changed dramatically in recent months, the ability to maintain those positions after years of intense fighting is significant. Russia may be advancing slowly, but it is not losing ground on a large scale. For many military analysts, maintaining these positions despite years of combat is itself an achievement, especially when facing an opponent backed by substantial military, financial, and intelligence support from multiple Western nations. Think back to 2022. At the time, many experts predicted that sanctions would cripple the Russian economy. That industry would grind to a halt. That military production would become unsustainable, and that Moscow would struggle to finance a prolonged conflict. Yet reality unfolded differently. The sanctions undeniably created pressure, but Russia adapted. Trade routes shifted, new supply chains emerged, domestic production expanded, and perhaps most importantly, Russia's defense industry continued producing ammunition, drones, missiles, and military equipment at a significant scale. This does not mean the Russian economy is without challenges, far from it, but it does suggest that predictions of a rapid economic collapse proved overly optimistic. And today, even some Western analysts acknowledge that reality. Ukraine has adapted as well. However, it would be a mistake to assume that Russia is the only side evolving. Ukraine has undergone a transformation of its own. If Russia's strength lies in industrial capacity, Ukraine's strength increasingly lies in innovation, particularly in the field of drone warfare. Over the past year, Ukrainian forces have expanded their ability to strike targets deep inside Russian territory. Air bases, ammunition depots, military infrastructure, logistics hubs, and facilities connected to Russia's defense industry. The objective is not necessarily to seize territory. The objective is to increase the cost of war for Moscow. In other words, Ukraine is attempting to force Russia to dedicate more resources to defense, protection, and internal security. Perhaps the most important development of this conflict is not a particular battle or military operation. It is the rise of drones. Not tanks, not fighter jets, not warships, drones. The Russia-Ukraine war has become the world's largest laboratory for modern drone warfare. Military planners across Europe, North America, Asia, and the Middle East are studying every lesson, because they are witnessing something remarkable. Relatively inexpensive drones are capable of destroying targets worth millions or even billions of dollars. They are seeing how mass-produced systems can challenge traditional military advantages, and they are learning that future wars may rely less on expensive platforms and more on large numbers of flexible, expendable technologies. The implications extend far beyond Ukraine and Russia. They may shape military doctrine worldwide for decades to come. Why Russia remains a formidable opponent? A question increasingly asked in strategic circles is simple. Why has Russia remained so difficult to defeat? The answer lies in several structural advantages. First, Russia possesses immense geographic depth. Second, it has access to vast natural resources. Third, it maintains a substantial industrial base capable of supporting military production. Together, these factors provide a level of endurance that few countries can match. They allow Russia to absorb economic pressure and sustain military operations over long periods. There are costs, certainly, but so far, those costs have not fundamentally altered Moscow's strategic position. So, what is the most important takeaway from the Russia-Ukraine war in 2026? Perhaps it is this: the world is witnessing the emergence of a new model of warfare, a model shaped not only by military power, but by industrial capacity, technological innovation, economic resilience, and national endurance. Russia continues to hold significant territory. It continues to maintain critical strategic positions, and it continues to demonstrate a level of resilience that has surprised many observers. At the same time, Ukraine continues to adapt, it continues to innovate, and it continues to show that the outcome of this conflict remains uncertain. Because in the end, the defining question may not be who appears stronger today. The defining question may be, who can continue to endure tomorrow? History has often shown that in long wars, victory does not always belong to the side with the greatest power. More often, it belongs to the side that can sustain that power the longest, and that question remains unanswered.